Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of the video, and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
Hello, I'm Officer Damon O'Connell, Public Information Officer for the Sparks Police Department. This critical incident community brief is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred in the 7000 block of North Virginia Street on October 19, 2021. You are about to see photo evidence and police procedures related to this case, so you have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know now. Officer-involved shootings are investigated following the Washoe County Officer-Involved Shooting Protocol. The Regional Officer-Involved Shooting Protocol conducts a thorough investigation. All agencies involved will conduct use of force investigations internally, which typically requires investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. When the investigation has been completed, the investigation is turned over to the Washoe County District Attorney's Office for criminal review. At the completion of the review, the Washoe County District Attorney provides a report with findings. All agencies have chosen to disseminate the incident information and video through this process to simplify the availability and for purposes of public transparency. A word of caution: the images and information you're about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect and to defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers.
I'm Deputy Chief Zach Thu with the Reno Police Department Regional Operations Division. Today I will give you a brief overview of an officer-involved shooting that occurred in the area of Golden Valley Drive and U.S. Highway 395 on October 19, 2021 at approximately 1 p.m. and during which a Sparks Police Department detective and a Reno Police Department detective discharged their service weapons. This incident involves detectives with the Regional Repeat Offender Program, commonly referred to as ROPE. ROPE is an undercover unit that focuses on offenders with extensive criminal histories and a high likelihood of reoffending. Due to the nature of undercover operations and associated officer and public safety concerns, undercover units may at times not wear body-worn cameras, and body-worn camera footage is not available for this incident. However, this overview will include other media to include surveillance footage and digital photographs. On October 19th, ROPE detectives responded to the area of the 7000 block of Silver Dawn Drive to conduct an undercover surveillance in an attempt to locate 41-year-old Richard Thomas. Thomas had a felony warrant for failing to appear for sentencing on a conviction of carrying a concealed weapon. At approximately 1 p.m., detectives identified Thomas operating a 2007 Ford F-150. Detectives followed Thomas to a gas station in the area of Golden Valley Drive and U.S. Highway 395. The F-150 momentarily stopped at a gas pump before moving toward a nearby exit. A detective entering the parking lot activated his red and blue interior forward-facing lights on his unmarked police vehicle and stopped in front of the F-150 truck, attempting to block the exit. Another detective stopped his vehicle directly behind the F-150 and also activated his vehicle red and blue forward-facing lights. A detective approached the driver's side door of the F-150. This detective opened Thomas's door while giving commands to Thomas to exit the vehicle. Another detective pulled his unmarked vehicle next to the stop and also approached the driver's side door. Thomas did not comply with commands to exit the vehicle, and a physical struggle ensued between Thomas and the two detectives who were attempting to remove him from the vehicle. As this was occurring, another detective moved to the passenger side of the F-150 and opened the door. The vehicle moved slightly, and this detective observed the vehicle was in drive. He leaned into the vehicle in an attempt to place the vehicle in park. Thomas was able to break free from detectives on the driver's side of the F-150, and he immediately began driving. He backed into the police vehicle behind him and then drove the vehicle forward while turning right, causing both the driver's side and passenger side doors to begin to close. One of the detectives on the driver's side was pinned by the closing door, and as the vehicle moved, he was pinched between the F-150 and the police vehicle in front. This detective was able to break free before the F-150 struck the right front quarter panel of the police vehicle in front of him. This detective at some point discharged his service weapon. The detective, who had been leaning into the passenger side of the F-150, was briefly trapped inside the vehicle as the passenger side door smashed into his lower body. This officer gave verbal commands to stop, but Thomas continued to operate the vehicle. The detective fired gunshots inside the vehicle and was able to exit the vehicle as it was still moving. The F-150 crashed nearby, and Thomas was ultimately declared deceased on scene. The Washoe County Medical Examiner's Office later determined that Thomas died as a result of gunshot injuries. All involved detectives were wearing exterior ballistic vests with police markings. The involved Reno detective sustained injuries and was treated at a local hospital and released. Evidence indicates his ballistic vest likely prevented more significant injuries associated with falling from the passenger side of the moving vehicle. The involved detectives are currently on administrative leave during the ongoing investigation.
The Sparks and Reno Police Department and officers take incidents such as these very seriously and are treated accordingly. For information on the Sparks Police Department, visit www.sparkspolice.com. For information on the Reno Police Department, visit www.renopd.com. Thank you.
All right, let's go into it.
www.sparkspolice.com.
So, it's 2021. I think we all know by now that you don't have to type in the www. You can just, I don't know why I even waste my time saying that, but sometimes I see these little things and I'm like, all right, you don't have to say the www. Like, we get it. Like, sparkspolice.com. That would be a given that www dot comes before that. Anyway, stupid rant. So there is not a whole lot of video for this incident.
Detectives followed Thomas to a gas station in the area of Golden Valley Drive and U.S. Highway 395. The F-150 momentarily stopped at a gas pump before moving toward a nearby exit.
So this is the only footage that we have available to us. If they were not wearing body cameras, then that's stupid. I mean, when body cameras first came out, I think, everyone had some hesitation or reservation with them, and I was one of them. But now, like, it's an ass saver. I can recall times before ever having a body camera where I wished I had a body camera to prove that people were lying. And, without that camera, it's, my word versus someone else's. But, if I would have had that camera, boom, my ass is covered. So, in this day and age, with all the stuff going on, like, why would you not have a freaking body camera? These detectives, they've got the vests. They're obviously going to do an arrest. They know that there's potential for shit to be happening. Like, you would think that they need to have a camera on. But for whatever reason, doesn't look like any of them had body cameras. So this is the only footage that we get to see. The struggle ensues, and back it up a little bit more right there.
Panel of the police vehicle in front of him. This detective at some point.
So this is, let's see here, 1, 2. I can't remember. I can't remember if this is number 3 or more, but I remember there being a video I think
The
it
right
was
front quarter
Wyoming,
panel of the police vehicle in
a
front of him.
police officer being essentially kidnapped in the vehicle. And then it was Washington where an officer was trapped inside of a vehicle and the vehicle was taken off. And now this one that I can recall off the top of my head where the vehicle takes off
This
and the officer is trapped inside the vehicle, essentially being kidnapped. Um, and I remember like the last video that I talked about, um, I remember saying something like, I'm sure this has probably occurred sometime in the past. It's just now that, body cameras are able to kind of capture a rare occurrence. Um, and then for, not even a year to go by and boom, it capture a second one like, oh wow, that's really odd. And now capturing this, like, holy shit, like, has this been something I've just, I don't know, missed all these years? Um, does this go on more often than what I've known about? Like, holy shit! Um, I don't know. It just sticks out to me as odd that this has occurred on occurred so many times within a short time frame. Granted, it's all across different parts of the nation or whatever. Um, but still, like, I mean, that just seems to me like a very odd um, happening, or a very peculiar one, something that would not happen at a large frequency, all across the nation or whatever. So I don't know. I guess it's something I'll need to start doing more research into to see um, how many times things like this occur a year. How many times officers are essentially kidnapped and trapped inside a moving vehicle as it's leaving the scene somewhere. The first officer here, he gets pinched in between the doors and then he gets loose. But this other officer, boom, he's trapped inside the vehicle, and the vehicle is it's continuing to go.
detective at some point
And that's being kidnapped at that point. Like, this officer don't want to go on a car ride with this guy. He doesn't want to go wherever he's going. Like, this officer wants to arrest the dude and get the guy out of the car and put him in his car. So with this dude taking off with the officer in the vehicle and the officer saying, "Hey, stop," that's kidnapping. And I'm pretty confident that in every state here in the U.S., kidnapping is grounds for justifiable use of deadly physical force. So, I mean, I don't want to be kidnapped any more than anyone else. And, if this guy would have been able to continue going on down the road and got away from all these other officers, where would he take that officer at? Could he potentially drive him to a secluded area and then murder him? Um, lots of variables there, and anybody, I believe, with a reasonable mindset would agree that, yeah, deadly physical force is warranted in this kind of scenario. And you're being taken against your will. You have no idea what this person's intentions are, where they're going, and what they're going to try and do to you when they get to where they've gone to. So he uses the appropriate level of force. He uses deadly physical force to stop the threat. And I mean, some people I think would probably look at it like, oh, that's a little too much. All he was is trying to drive away. Yeah, well, he's trying to drive away with the other person in there who doesn't want to be in there. So I see it as kidnapping. Some people may disagree, but those are probably people who don't have any, training or experience in deadly physical force type encounters. So he uses the appropriate amount of force, or appropriate type of force. Now, I don't know how many rounds he fires or anything like that. It doesn't go into that kind of detail, but he does use the deadly physical force to stop the threat. And the vehicle stops, and he literally saves himself from whatever demise this guy had in mind for him. Not much else to say about this. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.